When we got pregnant the second time with Ahmed, I was just like, my life is over. Who am I? What am I doing? Like, Bamba was just 10 months when I found out I was pregnant. What am I gonna do with my life? I obviously can't even go back to work if I wanted to. And that was what I feel like was a kind of a dark period for me, where I just shut down mentally, physically, emotionally, unable to really connect with Musa because I didn't communicate with him when I got pregnant at first. And I just didn't know how to express that, because within myself, I was just like, who am I? What am I doing? And didn't have the language for homemaker at the time. So this is why I'm sharing my background, because this wasn't just like, oh, I'm becoming a homemaker. No, I didn't have the language to even communicate what this was until now. Hello, world. Here's the truth. The reason why I decided to become a homemaker is because I love to control everything. But what I didn't know was that becoming a homemaker and having control over the well-being of our family meant that I would lose control of myself and my identity. As a child, if you were to ask me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I can guarantee you homemaker was not the answer. I didn't even know what that meant. You may be asking, Shanay, what is a homemaker? A homemaker, let me read my notes so I can make sure I get it right. But essentially, being a homemaker is someone who takes on the responsibilities of managing all the household operations. So that's childcare, that's cooking, cleaning, paying the bills, managing the budget. Those are all the roles of a homemaker. Leadership comes natural to me. It's something that I'm very good at, taking ownership of responsibilities. And becoming a homemaker just felt like a natural transition for the season of my life when I became a mother. By the end of this video, I'm gonna share how becoming a homemaker has affected my identity and how I'm approaching this season of my life to have more ease, to have more fun, and to reclaim my freedom. Because as a homemaker, I have lost freedom in certain senses, but I've gained so much freedom as well. So I'm going to talk about that in this video. When I first decided that I wanted to be a homemaker, this was way before I even gave birth. When I was still working, you know, they give you about 6 to 8 months for maternity leave. And I was thinking to myself, I'm not coming back to work after this. I just couldn't wrap my mind around going back to work after just having a baby and figuring out what to do with them when I'm at work. I didn't feel like I could trust anyone to keep Bamba because I was new to LA, so I didn't have any relationships with people where I would feel comfortable just dropping him off somewhere. And going back to me liking control, I just felt like I could not trust anybody to do the things that I would do for him, manage the routines that I wanted, and manage just the lifestyle that I want to create for my babies. And so I just kept telling Musa, like, I'm not going back to work. I'm going to stay home with the babies. And there was no debate about me staying home, really, because in the Senegalese culture, the women do stay home with their children. You have a lot of them that also work as well. And so this is normalized where he comes from. It was really based on my desire to nurture and shape our family the way I envision it, and having the freedom and control to do that. When I talk about loss of freedom for myself and my identity, it's because my freedom and my identity got wrapped around our entire family and the well-being of our family, which I'm completely okay with because it's the life that I chose for myself. And I do want to talk a little bit about privilege, because I don't want this idea that what I'm doing is not a blessing and a privilege. It absolutely is a blessing and a privilege. And so I want to put that out there because I'm extremely grateful. But going back to why I decided to be a homemaker, I knew I wasn't going back after maternity leave. And then being at home with Bamba every day and just witnessing his milestones and just seeing every day he would be doing something new and growing. And I'm like, wow, I really get to be here and watch it. Like, me and Musa celebrate him jumping. Like, oh my gosh, Bamba, you jumped. Or one time he walked up the step without having to hold on to the handle. So there are so many small moments that we can celebrate, and I'm just so happy I get to see it. So when Musa comes home, I'm like, Musa, guess what Bamba did? And then we like, go Bamba, go Bamba, go. We just celebrate him so much. When we got pregnant the second time with Ahmed, I was just like, my life is over. Who am I? What am I doing? Like, Bamba was just 10 months when I found out I was pregnant. And that was what I feel like was a kind of a dark period for me, where I just shut down mentally, physically, emotionally, unable to really connect with Musa because I didn't communicate with him when I got pregnant at first. And I just didn't know how to express that, because within myself, I was just like, who am I? What am I doing? And didn't have the language for homemaker at the time. So this is why I'm sharing my background, because this wasn't just like, oh, I'm becoming a homemaker. No, I didn't have the language to even communicate what this was until now. Being pregnant the second time, just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna be at home. That was really a dark period for me. I struggled a lot in that first trimester of my second pregnancy. I couldn't really see that being a homemaker was a huge contribution to our family. I couldn't see that I was saving us so much money by just being home with the boys, because y'all, childcare, I would most likely be contributing more than half of my salary to childcare. But I couldn't see that. I was just so caught up in, oh my gosh, I'm about to have 2 babies. Who am I? And what am I bringing to this family other than having kids? Like, I could not see that this was a beautiful thing. I was so caught on myself and trying to really figure out what path I was going down. Oh, and then there is this thought process around, my parents sent me to school. They pay a lot of money to send me to school. They put so much effort into me going to school so that I could get a good job. And what do I have to show for it? And so a lot of self-talk around my values and my contribution to our family was really at the forefront of me stepping into the role as a mother. When did I finally start to accept my role as a homemaker? I had to communicate that I am not perfect at this. I need help. I am struggling during the day. Homemaking is such a mental, physical, and emotionally draining job. And I had to communicate that to Musa so that he could understand that I'm not just at home sleeping with the baby. That was rare that I would even do that, because even as a creative entrepreneur and growing my own business, a lot of Bamba's and Ahmed's nap times, I'm squeezing in work hours where I can actually get some focus time to do the work that I enjoy doing, so that I can still be myself throughout all of the work that I do for the babies and for our family throughout the day. That was the first thing, was self-advocacy. It was huge, because I was feeling like we were not connecting emotionally, Musa and I. And when I mean emotionally, I mean more so like he couldn't understand why I was feeling stress or pressure. And that, I think that revolves a lot around just going back to the values and what we each bring to the table of our family. And from his perspective, this is my opinion of his perspective, was that he was the one getting up every day, going to work, and still is going to work, paying all of the bills, and I get to stay home. So, what is my struggle? And once I finally started to articulate what it was, he started to see a lot more clear what I was doing throughout the day. And that has helped so much. And I'm so grateful that I finally was able to articulate what was happening for us throughout the day. I mean, for both of us as first-time parents, we have our own reality, our own perspective of what parenthood looks like from the mother's perspective and from the father's perspective. And me finally being able to say what was happening for me internally helped me to realize that it's okay to need help. It's okay to feel like I'm struggling, and I need you to be there with me to help me get through this and work through this. And that helped a lot, and that I think has helped our marriage a lot too, in this season of our marriage where we're growing a family. The second thing was having the ability to get out of the house. Going for walks and going to the library was so joyful for me, because those are two of my favorite activities. And so being able to do that and share those moments with Bamba and Ahmed really gave me a sense of freedom again, where I could live slowly. I do not have to rush. I can live at a slow pace, and really we can take our time. So that was one thing that helped me to really settle into the role of homemaker, was having that freedom to come and go with the boys as I please. Something that was really huge for me in this shift was moms groups. Moms groups just really helped me to feel settled in Los Angeles. So when I gave birth at Kindred Space LA, they supported moms through the mom groups that they hosted. And that really helped me to feel less crazy about being at home with my kids all day, because I was able to talk to other mothers, and they were sharing their perspectives, not just about motherhood, but about being a wife and about being a family, and just everyday challenges and successes and just the happiness of it all. I was able to share that in the moms groups. I tell anybody who is a new mom, who's pregnant or just had their baby, you need to look for a moms group, because moms groups are really gonna help to keep you uplifted, supported through everything. So I even got to the point where I started leading the moms group at Kindred Space, and it was volunteer, so I wasn't getting paid, but I'm like, I will lead the group, because I know that if I need it, so many other moms need it. Once Bamba became 2, I started to feel like I was unorganized with his daily schedule and daily routine. I was feeling disheveled. I was feeling all over the place every day. Like, I had the newborn and he's on his own schedule. Then I got Bamba, who needs activities, who needs entertainment, and he's on his own schedule. I started to look into some homeschooling cooperatives, and I finally found one that I just absolutely love so much. We became a part of this homeschool collective in this past fall, 2025. We started in September, and that has been life-changing for us. Once I had Ahmed, it was a little bit harder for me to get out of the house as much, but I kept thinking to myself, like, I want to make sure that Bamba still has activities that he can do and that he is supported in his milestones. And when I found the homeschool collective, I just was like, this is it. That was what helped me to really accept this role, is because even though I'm feeling lack or loss of freedom for myself, I've gained so much freedom in the sense of I don't have to get up every day and go to work. I can get up every day and explore the world with my babies. I can see the world through their eyes because I'm hanging out at the playground. I'm hanging out at the library. We're traveling a lot more. Like right now, we're on vacation with my grandmother in Newport Beach. I just want people to know that it wasn't something that I even knew existed or just came to this conclusion. I just knew I wanted to stay home with my baby. I wanted to have more control over his upbringing and well-being. I want to have the freedom for our family as a whole to live more outside of the box. So we are still a work in progress as a family. For all my moms that are homemakers, was this something that you wanted to do? Was it something that you automatically knew that you would do when you became a mother? And if not, how has it changed? How have you changed after becoming a homemaker? I would love to hear from you, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, keep exploring. Bye.